breath of God, fill us with life anew. Touch our hearts yet again, that we might feel the movement of your Spirit on the altar therein. Give us strength for the journey. May this time be a time of renewal of our souls, that we might run on a little while longer. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. It is very good to be here once again and to see each of you in this place. God bless you. We give God the honor tonight for this, our third night and our final night of our fall revival. God has richly blessed us in so many ways, and we are truly, truly grateful. I'm grateful to God for each of you, yet again, for this fresh opportunity to break the bread of life. And so we look tonight at the second book of Kings, chapter 5. And there we hear the words, "So Naaman came with his horses and chariots and halted at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to him saying, 'Go wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean.'" The sermon title for tonight is "Go Wash in the Jordan." Go wash in the Jordan. Naaman was the commander of the Syrian army. The New Revised Standard Version refers to Syria by the name Aram. I will use the name Syria instead to give you a better sense of the geography of our story. Naaman was considered a great man in the eyes of the king and was held in high regard by both great and small. Through him, Syria rose to military prominence and became a superpower in their hemisphere. Naaman was a mighty man of valor, a man with many honors, one of the most decorated military heroes of his time, feared by many, loved by some, respected by all. But Naaman was a leper. Today, leprosy is a curable disease, but here it imposed a certain kind of loneliness upon the afflicted person. It made life miserable and isolating. In the midst of all of his honors, in spite of all that he had accomplished, Naaman was still a leper. He was as great as the powers of the world could make him, but no one wanted to be in his shoes. On one of their military adventures, the Syrians took a young girl captive from the land of Israel. And there she served the wife of Naaman, this great military commander. As their servant, she had many occasions to witness Naaman's life, his sadness, his frustration, his depression. The Bible says that one day she spoke to her mistress about Naaman's condition. In spite of her servitude, one who had been wrongfully deprived of her liberty, this young girl was still able to feel compassion for Naaman. She said, "If only my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." God has his own way of allowing others to intersect with our lives. God has his own way of guiding us toward a brighter day. God has his own way of sending blessings into our lives. We do not always understand the mysterious movements of this marvelous God, but he intervenes and shows us how to get out from under. This girl, this young girl, had no reason to say anything. She had been uprooted from her kin and kind. She did not know when or if she would ever return home. She was told when to rise up and when to lie down, and yet God filled her heart with compassion. And in this moment, she directed Naaman to a place of healing. I thank God for the many people who have stood at the fork in the road in my life. I thank God for the many people who have pointed the way. I thank God for the many people who have given me a word of wisdom or a word of knowledge. I would not be here tonight were it not for them. You would not be here tonight were it not for those people in your life. People who somehow appeared at just the right time to point the way, to say, no, not that way, but this way. There are too many slippery places, too many dark corners, too many unknowns, too many temptations for us to navigate this life without help from others. The church has been called to stand at the fork in the road and to point the way to eternal day for all who choose to listen. Yes. The weather will not always be good, but we must stand. I don't think you hear me. I don't think you hear me. We must stand in stormy weather. We must stand when the waves of division beat against the shore. We must stand when the outcomes do not look promising. Yes. We must stand. We must stand when friends are few and when folks step back from you. You know how that is. We must stand when times are tough. We must stand when the way gets rough. We must stand when money is tight. We must stand in the midst of the fight to make things right. We must stand. If we do not stand, if we do not stand, who will stand for us in the difficult days when the battle has been joined and the way forward is not clear? Therefore, my brothers and sisters, we must stand. The text tells us that upon hearing about the possibility of healing, Naaman went to the king of Syria and told him what the girl had said. The king gave him a letter with instructions. And so Naaman went as the king instructed, taking gifts of money and clothing. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, but the Bible tells us that the letter was not well received. The king of Israel and the king of Syria were not on the best of terms, and so this letter came as an insult to Israel's king. The record says that Elisha received word about Naaman's arrival and about the king's response. The prophet sent a message to the king to direct the Syrian commander to his house. And we are told that Naaman, his men, his chariots and horses came to Elisha's door expecting to see him face to face. But look at the story. Instead, the prophet sent a messenger to him saying, "Go, wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean." God sometimes gives us strange instructions. Can I get a witness?
Yes.
The Bible is filled with strange instructions. From the first chapter of the book of Genesis to the last chapter of the book of the Revelation, we see people grappling with these strange divine instructions. You've read them or you've heard them read. You may freely eat of every tree of the garden,
Amen.
but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat.
Yes.
For in the day that you eat of it, you shall die. Strange instruction.
Yes.
Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, 'Thus says the Lord, let my people go.'" And Moses said, "What you say?" "Say that again? I can barely speak." Strange instructions. In the book of Joshua, the Lord said, "You shall march around the city, all the warriors circling the city once. Thus you shall do for 6 days, with 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of rams before the ark. On the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times, the priests blowing the trumpets. When they make a last blast with the ram's horn, as soon as you hear the sound of the trumpet, then all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city will fall down." Strange instructions. Jesus said, when you give alms, don't let your left hand know what your right hand. Strange instructions. James instructs us to count it all joy when we fall into various trials. Strange instructions. Go wash in the Jordan 7 times and you shall be clean. The text, look closely now. The text says that Naaman left Elisha's door angry and offended. The prophet did not even come out to meet him. He did not perform any great ritual. He did not wave his hand over him or call his name in prayer. He did not shout some mysterious word or language. He did not speak in tongues. Oh, be careful, preacher. Be careful. He did not speak in tongues or offer any spiritual treasure or do any great or extraordinary thing. No, no, no. And to add insult to injury, he told him to go wash in the Jordan River. Now everybody knew that the waters of Damascus were superior to the Jordan River. And yet the prophet told Naaman to go wash in the Jordan. Strange instruction. Yes, by earthly standards, the rivers of Damascus were better if one simply wanted to be made clean from dirt. But by heavenly standards, the river Jordan was the place to go if one wanted to wash and be cleansed of leprosy. Go wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean. When we're asking for a blessing, sometimes, walk with me now, sometimes God says, go wash, and you shall be clean. Wash your hands so you'll stop reaching for something that belongs to somebody else. Wash your hands. My. And the preacher was doing so well until now. He was doing so well. Wash that covetousness from your soul. Sometimes God says, wash your feet so they won't stray from the path where you met him. Wash your heart so you might be cleansed of your jealousy and of your envious ways. Wash your mind so you might be cleansed of foolish ideas and unkind thoughts. When we're asking for a blessing, sometimes God says, go wash, and you shall be clean. Here, Naaman's servants dared to do. They dared to do what most people would have counseled against. They gave Naaman some advice. The servant said, Father, if the prophet had commanded you to do something difficult, would you not have done it? How much more when all he said was wash, and be clean. When we are in the throes of disappointment, it is often difficult to see the obvious. We need help from others. We need others to show us what we cannot see. When we are blinded by our pain, blinded by our wounds, we need the wise counsel of people who care. Whatever your challenge tonight, you must know that you are not alone. You are surrounded by a host of witnesses who are praying for you. Never feel that you must carry your burden alone.